This could change everything for markets, moving us from the, oh my gosh, we're going into a new global depression, to holy crap, we're so back in a very short amount of time. I'll discuss it with you in today's video, taking a look at the charts, what's going on with oil, what's going on with stocks, what's going on with crypto, how's Bitcoin reaction, and my newest trade over on BitUnix. We've got a lot to cover in today's video, so let's go ahead and get straight the heck into it, guys. So, first and foremost, El Donaldo, the Trumpo. He says, we're doing extremely well in negotiation, but you never know with Iran because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up. Don, I tell you. Anyway, here's the deal. Don needs an off-ramp. He needs to get out of this, or he understands the economic repercussions that are likely to play out from this scenario. What's interesting is we have stuff like this, and the temptation to read this tweet in the Trump voice is very strong, but I'm not going to do it. The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made. If for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which is probably will be, and if the Strait of Hormuz is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells in Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants. That's crazy stuff, man. There's war crimes everywhere. Let's blow up all their water production facilities for 90 million people. Anyway, that all aside, site which we have purposely not touched yet. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the 47-year reign of terror, blah, blah, blah. Look, if we get a deal in the next week, and we're running pretty short, the window's really closing fast on this all resolving itself in some way that's not going to result in complete economic Armageddon for the entire planet. Okay, just so we're clear. But there is still a window there, and if they meet the deal within that window, things probably bounce back a lot quicker than people are going to tell you on social media, okay? Countries met in Pakistan to prevent oil disruption, oil shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global crude supply. Proposal Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt may form a consortium to manage and secure tanker movement. Pakistan has been asked to participate. Objective is to coordinate, control, security, and smooth flow of oil shipments. Diplomatic game plan has been informally discussed with both the United States and Iran, indicating de-escalation attempt rather than conflict. As soon as oil starts flowing reliably again through the Strait of Hormuz, we get back to business as usual relatively quickly. Yes, there's a massive supply disruption. Yes, some of the things are going to be offline for a while, like Qatar's LNG, 17% or something of a global supply has been disrupted in a very meaningful way. Other places can come in to fill that void, but it won't be overnight. Okay? Global helium needed for AI semiconductor production and stuff like that, also problematically disrupted, but we're at a stage right now, and why I say we have a window, right? We're at a stage right now where if things resolve relatively quickly in the next week, maybe two, maybe we still have 2 weeks for things not to really break, then yeah, we have supply chain disruption, but by like May, June, we're back to business as usual, and the markets will start pricing that in way before it actually happens. This one, Trump, 20 large oil tankers to transit Strait of Hormuz under U.S. escort starting tomorrow morning. You can see the community notes here. The 20 tankers are Pakistani flagged vessels allowed by Iran to transit the Strait of Hormuz under Iranian escort, not U.S. escort. Just claim credit for everything that's happening, I guess. Crude oil prices only dropped $1 after this new taco. That's it. Objectively, we're getting close to the point where nobody believes Trump anymore. Oil prices here, they've come back up to the area where we've been rejected twice before. Now we've got, of course, wicks up to the sort of 115 region. This is for Brent, crude oil in particular. But if we reject in this area, push back down, again, that's the market pricing in a reality where there is a resolution to this conflict in the not so distant future. U.S. Envoy Witkoff, I think there will be an Iran meeting this week. Trump wants a peace deal. Of course he does. Trump doesn't want to be remembered as the guy who caused the global depression. He wants to bomb Iran and then just walk away and be like, all right, it's good. It's good. No global depression, guys. Trump is pulling the plug. Smart move. Bet we rally on Monday. U.S. futures are currently up, by the way. Pentagon's preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran, according to the Washington Post. I feel the conflict here. Feel the conflict. On the one hand, it's you have, oh, we're talking, we're negotiating, things are happening. And on the other hand, it's kind of like, you know what, maybe we put in some ground troops. A few thousand here, a few thousand there, take a few islands, blow up some desalination plants. Anyway, I've got a long open over here on BitUnix on Hype. Just opened it up here at $38 and a few cents. The stop loss running pretty tight on this one at 37, take profit up at 50. I'll break down some more reasoning behind that exact trade here when we look at the hype charts in a moment. If you want to join me trading over on BitUnix, there's a link down below. With that link, you can get signed up, and it's available to anyone, anywhere, which is, of course, you. That's you. You're anyone, you're anywhere. You can trade over here. I know a lot of you guys are looking for a great exchange where you can trade and long the rips, short the dips. They got the coins you want to trade, and they got the liquidity that you need. That place is BitUnix. As you can see, I'm doing most of my trading over here. So if you want to join me over there, link down below. And when you sign up, you'll get some sweet exclusive deposit bonuses. Like you deposit $1,000, you get $200 back. You deposit $2,000, you get $400 back. These are crazy deals. Great incentive to try out a new exchange. Link down below. Thank you very much. So, Subu trades. Large speculators are extremely net long Bitcoin here. Okay, very, very important because you can see previous times when this happened often coincided, especially major spikes like this, with incoming market rallies. You can see back here and you can see here as well. And that's not always perfect. You can see here we had very strong net longs in early 2025 before the market had a major decline. So it's not a perfect indicator, but certainly an indicator at these price points that's noteworthy. Let's put it that way. Exit Pump BTC posts this one. Bitcoin right now, spot order books are showing significantly stronger demand compared to previous ranges. The brighter the overlay, the larger the bid liquidity. Dumps are for buying. So we're seeing strong accumulation happening in this $60,000 zone where we've been for the past 2 months. Cozy Caller posted this one. This is the Bitcoin chart they won't show you, 2022 versus now. If this happened, the amount of just heads exploding on the internet would be crazy. It's the hope you may need. It's not the hope you may deserve, but maybe it's the hope you may need right now, okay? Bitcoin currently here trying to reclaim within the channel, okay? So over the weekend, we lost the channel, but not in a super meaningful way. We even dipped down to around $65,000, but that dip was relatively quickly bought up. We keep seeing buyers stepping in to buy BTC here, okay? Sellers have run out of a lot of ammunition, and buyers keep showing up, which is an interesting situation. Now, obviously, we need the price to find reacceptance within the channel here, okay? If we just get a solid rejection here, and the daily close is about 12 hours away. So if we get a solid rejection here and the price pushes back down under this, that's not good. That's a pretty strong rejection in that scenario. But if the price can find a way to maintain and to reclaim within the channel, then this is a false breakdown, okay? ETH bounced pretty strongly actually off the bottom of its channel. You can see here wicked below only very briefly down to around 1940 and then bounced pretty strongly back up to 2060. Okay, so a nice $100+ move there coming in for Ethereum, still maintaining within its wider channel here. Okay, we had one false breakout to the upside here on ETH, but overall it's been maintaining within this price channel. Hype. Now, my reasoning for going long here is incredibly simplistic, that we're going to get a bounce off the 20-day EMA, okay? So you can see, since we retook the 20-day EMA back here on the 28th of February, we've had 2 tests so far. Both have resulted in pretty decent bounces. It is in a downtrend locally here, so I don't love that. It would probably be safer for me to wait and try to long it on the breakout of the downtrend at about $40, but I'm going to be impatient. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be impatient, try to long here after 20-day EMA bounce, and the stop loss is at $37 on this one. The take profit's at 50, which maybe I'm being overly ambitious on the take profit, and I can always readjust later if it does give me a decent bounce. The reasoning for $50, of course, is that this area right here, as you can see, was a pretty important price area for hype. So let's see how it plays out. Locally, we are still in a downtrend. You can see on the MACD here, we've lost the RSI momentum, so it is a, let's say, a trade based on one very simple factor. Will we or will we not bounce off the 20-day EMA again? Let's see. Let's see. It's worth the trade, in my opinion, because the stop loss and validation is such a close move here that if we do get stopped out, you get stopped out with a paper cut. If it does break out and we do bounce off of some kind of de-escalation news early in the week, then there's a decent trade brewing up there. Solana, oh boy, we reached our first breakdown target of the descending wedge. Okay, remember I was talking about that with you here last week. Well, guess what? We got down to our $80 price target here as we mapped out previously. We did bounce off of that. The question is now whether that was enough or if markets are going to meaningfully turn lower, heading us down to 77 and maybe even $67 before bottoming out and trying to move higher once again. Of course, hype, Bitcoin, Ethereum, if everything starts tanking, the hype long gets stopped out, that's fine. And these Solana shorts will go lower and hit some of these lower targets. Cantonese cat, over the past 15 years, when fear and greed index is at 10 or less, the majority of the time we are either at bottom or getting close to it, which is very interesting. It's true. It's true. Either the bottom or close. You can see here in 2022, wasn't quite the bottom, but it got gosh darn close. Okay, we had a second bottom later in the year. So it's interesting to think about this because there's a lot of panic on the timeline right now. Fear of a global depression, which, again, to be fair, if we do not get some kind of de-escalation around the Iran conflict, we are heading for some bad times. Okay, oil's got to start flowing again, fertilizer's got to start flowing again, and much more, LNG and all that stuff, right? Otherwise, the downstream economic impacts are incredibly substantial and incredibly dire. And that's not me trying to cause FUD or something. That's just the reality of the situation, okay? But any kind of moves towards de-escalation, and we rip pretty hard, in my opinion. Not necessarily a V-shaped recovery, but it could move a lot faster than you think. Suba Trade, SPY, so the S&P 500 put volume spiked on Friday. Previous spikes came close to marking bottoms for the S&P 500. Will this time be different? Very interesting, because as we're now down 8% or something for the S&P 500, everybody wants to go short now. It's fascinating. Of course, Friday was a nasty day, nasty rejection here, okay? We had the breakdown, retest, kiss of death rejection here at the 200-day EMA. We have officially entered into oversold territory on the S&P 500. The index now, since the recent price peak, has now down 9%. So we are now 0.7% away from a technical correction. Remember, the indexes only enter bear markets when they're down 20% or more from their previous highs. So we still have a long ways to go in that regard, but trading well below the 200-day EMA right now, not fantastic by any means. Of course, a lot of opportunities coming in the market. Bill Ackman. Some of the highest quality businesses in the world are trading at extremely cheap prices. Ignore the mainstream media. One of the most one-sided wars in history that will end well for the U.S. and the world. And we have the potential for a large peace dividend. One of the best times in a long time to buy quality. Ignore the bears. Now, previous times when Bill Ackman has said this, no one's got a perfect track record, but previous times when he said this have been at meaningful lows in the market. Okay, so take that for what you will. Circle has got just wrecked, man. It's crazy how fast this happened. Okay? Really. As we were talking about it back up here, and I was saying, guys, look, realistically, the RSI is massively overbought in the daily. It just had a 100% plus move. Like, there will be buying opportunities. It'll have its pullback at some point. Now, it's pretty dramatic and a lot of sort of FUD on the timeline. Like, oh my gosh, Tether's going to IPO and Circle's going to be worthless. And they're not going to get stablecoin sharing revenue in the New Clarity Act and all that kind of stuff. Well, look what happened. It dropped 33% in a week. Crikey, mate. That's a big one. Came right back down to the previously marked out buy zone here in the $90 range. Okay? Interesting. I have not bought a position yet, but man, I am tempted to nibble some Circle at these levels. This one from Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio's latest portfolio just dropped $27.42 billion in positions. Now, in particular, is one I wanted to point out here. Micron Technology, he added 52,355% more. So they had a very, very tiny position, but now they've got $250 million worth of Micron Technology. So they had, well, what's that? What's 52,000%? Well, they had like $100,000 or something worth of Micron Tech, and now they got $250 million. Anyway, that's a big move. That's a big move. Of course, you'll remember we shared our report on Micron Tech back here for the Inner Circle subscribers. It has went up over 100% since that time, and even now, it's still up 50% from the time that report was shared. Now it is down 25%, and it could go down farther. Just because Ray Dalio bought does not mean it's going to keep going up forever, okay? It's only $250 million position of a stock that's worth hundreds of billions, so, just keep it all in perspective. Still, though, if we get continued sell-offs, the 200-day EMA is down here around 270, probably provides a very interesting opportunity to get back in on one of these big tech hardware names. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, if you'd like to join the inner circle, I'd love to see you in there, okay? Currently a network hiccup interrupting our video. Anyway, besides the point, link down below if you want to get signed up to the inner circle. This is our investor community for investors and for traders. We're sharing regular trading steps, long and short positions on crypto, stocks, and metals, okay? We've had some killer trades over the last 6 months. We're sharing regular investor reports on altcoins. Once a week, you're getting an altcoin report. Once a week, you're getting a hot tech stock report, something like Micron Tech or Rocket Labs before they had their big rallies, okay? And you'll get our trading signal bot. You're going to get our token sniffer bot. So that's the Agent Lark. It's literally an AI tool that we've made that you can use. That alone is worth $50 a month. We're not even going to get talking about all the other stuff. That one tool alone is worth its weight in gold because you can put in a token's name and it's going to tell you social sentiment. It's going to tell you price action. It's going to tell you distribution of coins, especially for like new meme coins and stuff like that. It's incredibly useful because it'll tell you whether something's a scam and it's bundled and it's going to dump to zero, which is a pretty good record of finding that stuff out or not. Anyway, that and much, much more. We're just scratching the surface. The value here is absolutely insane. It's $50 a month. There's a link down below. You can get signed up. We'd love to see you in there. 7-day free trial. Thank you very much, and I'll see you back in the next one. Peace.